The people who will be helping to make the decisions in the future of all these elements, along with the leaders in the city of Atlanta, are going to be the legislators under the gold dome at the state capitol. Let's go to some results now. There was a special election runoff, the State House District 106. This is representing parts of Gwinnett County. These are unofficial results, but at this point, unofficially, 100% of the votes are now in. Democrat Muhammad Akbar Ali taking this race unofficially with about 55% of the vote to Marqus Cole's 45% of the vote. Low turnout affair here, less than 2,000 ballots cast total in this race. The margin, about 150 votes. Val, you were talking about this. The margins are close. Again, these are low turnout affairs, but that's, you've got to think, Spiro, you alluded to this, you've got to think, boy, if you know, I knocked on one extra door a day for a month, is that the kind of thing that just keeps you up at night as a strategist?
Probably for like a week or two, yeah.
And then it's on to the next thing?
Yeah, and then it's on to the next thing. But look, I mean, I think that that's something, like Spiro said earlier, you do want to leave it all out on the field. You don't want to end up going to bed on election night being like, we should have called this person, or we should have gone to this meeting, or we should have done X, Y, Z. So it's the margins are getting smaller, and those, especially the metro suburban areas, the margins have always been a little closer on the state house level since I would say probably like 2017, and so they've been a little tighter, and so that seat was a little tight. It was a safe Democratic seat. Akbar had the endorsement of the former state representative who held that seat, former Representative Shelley Hutchinson. So and he's all over social media,
And speaking of social media, I mean, it really speaks to kind of this generational shift, Spiro. I'll bring you in here too. If Ali is elected, he would be the youngest person to serve under the Gold Dome. I believe he's 21 right now. I actually sat down with him, I believe, last year. He was still a student at Kennesaw State University, grew up in Gwinnett. And I mean, he's young. He's a grown man, right? He is clearly taking the lead right here, unofficial votes. But it's speaking to a shift, Spiro. A 21-year-old under that gold dome. Like, how could that shake things up?
Well, we've had them before. It's rare, but I mean, it does happen, and it does bring a different perspective to the General Assembly. So, yeah, I mean, I think this particular race is probably one, as Val said, it's a solidly Democratic seat. So, looking at trends, that's probably more internal in terms of Democratic politics. I don't think there was a city election in this particular House race, so turnout obviously very, very low. But I think looking at the demographic factors and having someone as young as this, certainly makes a statement.
How much, you guys mentioned that Ali had the endorsement of the state legislator who previously occupied this seat. We've talked throughout the night as well about Governor Brian Kemp endorsing in a couple mayoral races, Stacey Abrams endorsing in the Sandy Springs mayoral contest. Val, how much do endorsements move the needle in a race like this, in races like this?
Not to give a very annoying answer, but it depends, right?
When I was in law school, I heard a lot of attorneys say that.
Yes. So, yeah, it depends. If the incumbent was popular out in the community, has a good connection with folks, good network, it can help because they can help that new candidate tap into their network. If it's just like an endorsement in name only, that might not necessarily move the needle very, very far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a case-by-case basis. Sometimes endorsements can actually hurt.
I was exactly.
I mean, sometimes your local voters don't like the statewide politicians coming in and saying you should vote for this person, but sometimes it does carry weight.